Hello everyone, my name is Bree and welcome to Documented Journey. Today we are going to talk about Inktober, and I'd like to tell you what I'm doing for Inktober. So we're first going to start with what I'm going to be using. I am going to be using the ballpoint pen. I know, it's no different than any other month for me. I use the ballpoint pen and have been using the ballpoint pen since spring. It has been a really long time and I'm really loving it. So I'm just sticking with it. And I figure since I've been using it for so long, I could actually do some how-to videos now that I feel comfortable with it. And I really think that it's something that we need to consider, really using our supplies and using them almost to the extent of that's all you use, so you really get the feel of what that one supply can do. I know it sounds crazy, I do understand, but I am all about trying to make and push my art in different directions, and I feel like when I found something that I really love, I stick with it. So the whole point of this video, I am just going to give you a few tips about using the ballpoint pen. So tip number 1, practice your pressure on the paper. This is really important because you want to get those light areas and dark areas. And this is really cool, and a really neat thing about the ballpoint pen is you can get a full range of value once you figure out how to press the pen to the paper. If you notice, when I was in the darker areas, I was not only going over it a million times, but I was also holding the pen straight up and down, whereas when I'm doing the lighter areas, you'll see that I'm kind of almost touching that nib to the side of the paper instead of up and down. So just practice that. Practice the fact that it's going to take you a while to figure out how to really fade from dark to light. Your light is the hardest part, and I really like to scribble it out at that point. So tip number 2 is going to be building up layers. And I talk about this a lot in all my videos because I talk a lot about watercolor, and I'm going to bring it to the pen too. The whole point about layers is starting off pretty light. There's a lot of times where I already know where the dark is going to be and where the light is going to be. If I'm sketching something from memory, most of the time my sun or my light source is going to be in the top right hand side. So as you see me sketching this sphere, it's in the top right hand side. So I know that the bottom left is going to be in shadow. So that's where I'm going to concentrate most of my layers. And by doing that, by starting off light or lighter than normal, what you do is you kind of like circumvent a mess up. And if you do mess up, it's no big deal because it's going to be getting darker anyway there, so you can kind of fix it. And remember, you can get a full range of value with just this one pen. The more you layer and build up that pigment and color, the darker it's going to be. So just remember, you just want to keep layering, layering, layering until you get the depth that you want. And depth meaning the darkest value. So one thing that I do want to point out is after the ball pen dries, like the ink dries, it does get a little more matte. As you can see, it's kind of shiny right now. It gets a little more matte, and if you wanted to go on top of that again after it dries, you can get it even darker. Tip number 3, you do want to continuously wipe off the nib or the tip of the pen because it will produce a buildup of some sort. It's like ink and paper kind of mixed together. I do notice that when I use it on Tomo River paper, I don't have as much buildup as if I used it on like a really heavier paper like mixed media. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, and in the comments below, let me know if you're doing Inktober. Until next time, everybody, I'll see ya.